Welcome to the CFG Game Cast episode number 160, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers that like to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Fridays and release it on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love, give us a follow, or do us a favor, give us a like on Facebook, a subscribe on YouTube, or follow on Twitch, or any podcast services out there to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
Oh, just cyborg things. Went to the doctor, got another diagnosis I wasn't looking for. Fun things. This is why I don't go to the doctor anymore. When you have a traumatic brain injury, like technically, there's a lot of things that go on. I thought that, the little episodes I was having were other types of seizures that I hadn't experienced before. And I just assumed, you got to get on a new seizure med that maybe covers all bases. Nope, I'm narcoleptic. And apparently it's been on my record the whole time. My mom just never told me. So. Yeah, but it's simple, taking the medication for it, and it works great. And I couldn't be happier that I'm not having sleep attacks anymore. So, yeah, it's
Good
great.
Night, dude.
Yeah, literally, good night. I would just be down for the count. Adam said our couch was cursed because every time we'd eat dinner, I would knock out right after. And now I don't. It's nice,
Nice.
We can have dinners and actually I can be present, which is fabulous.
Well, the good thing is that it makes you be in a better mood if you're getting your sleep, because I know how much of a pain not you, but just like anyone is when they don't get enough sleep. So
well, the issue that I still run into is no matter how much sleep I get, I still don't feel well rested when I wake up necessarily. I'm just scared to take that medication because it's a little aggressive. Because once I take it, I will not be leaving my bed for at least 10 hours kind of situation. So, yeah, I do feel a little more rested now that I'm able to stay up during the day. I can take a nap that's only an hour, whereas before I'd lay down and it's like 6 hours later I'd wake up. So that's nice. Taking a little nice cat nap is great. I know what people mean by like a 30-minute power nap now. So that's great. Building cat houses.
Dangerous Voice says that's not narcolepsy, it's called deitis.
That's deitis.
I would have to agree.
I wish. It's secondary narcolepsy is what it's called. And no, it's not like in the movies where you just fall asleep into your soup bowl kind of situation. But yeah, it's now that we know, everything makes sense, which is great. So
what's actually even better though is the fact that it could have been a lot worse December was a real like crap show. I remember like for you and
it's horrible.
But if you know now that you know what the issues are, and then that was the simple reasoning for it. It's good to know that. Yeah, it's a good thing that it wasn't anything more serious than it was.
Yeah, and December is hard for me normally because I have had multiple surgeries, so any sort of like weather change is really hard on my body, and I do want to sleep more. So having something that prevents me from going off the deep end in the sleep arena is really nice because I don't want to sleep for 20 hours straight, So I feel more present and alert, and it's really nice. So
yeah, that's good. Hey, but Lex,
yeah.
The guy who's been constantly training to learn to beat me in Marvel Snap.
I do
this year.
I do. His name is
the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. What's going on, dude? It's true.
It's not true. Number one, it is not true. That is a filthy, filthy lie. Don't believe his lies. Man, it's good to see everyone. It's good to be back doing things and back on the podcast here. Hopefully everybody had a great holiday. We're able to relax, re-energize, get back into the New Year's and stuff like that. So overall, it's been solid. Gaming wise, again, I was grinding through Ragnarok, and then Davis just like, it's too late, dude.
I knew it was gonna say it. I was like, wait, you
I
didn't
feel
finish?
so bad. I feel so bad.
It still hasn't
I
finished.
tried. I haven't. Because once you said
She
that, that's
told
when
me to do
I
it.
started playing other stuff. What?
I would have finished it in like 3 days. I would
I know.
probably
Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
He was like, this dude was like, I platinumed it. Where you at? Oh.
Smitty's like, I just passed
Oh,
this
no.
stage. Like, Smitty, you got like another 8 hours. You know that, right? And it's just, I was just like, it was kind of funny because like when I was going through the process, I was kind of worried. I was like,
Worried?
okay, here you go. Yeah, I was.
I've been
like,
good
you were,
for
like,
it. Well, no, I
when
get
you
the last
told
2
me-
I have not finished.
It was literally like weeks, like 3 weeks later after I come back. I was like, okay, Smitty, I beat the game. Where are you at? You're like, I just, I'm at this one area. It's like, Smitty, that's like 3 hours in. And you're like,
there's
and
a
then
lot
you're
going
like,
on.
Then you got hooked on freaking sidetracked on Marvel Snap, and it's like, and then I was like, oh god, okay.
But
so
that
we're not
didn't
gonna see this
sidetrack
anytime
me.
soon.
I was mainly playing that on mobile and stuff like that. It was that
It
the
didn't
girls got
sidetrack
sick.
you.
Both the girls got sick. We went out of town. We went to Canada.
You got
you know
sick
what I mean?
too,
Then the
man.
holidays. I got sick.
You
I
were
got
down for the count.
bronchitis. Yeah, like, dude, yeah. Trust me, I wanted to, man, and I tried, but like there were just days that like I just had to sleep. Like I just had to sleep, dude. Like I was just completely out. I know. I feel bad. I feel terrible.
Yeah, I was like,
I feel
dude, it's way too
terrible.
late. There's no one cares about.
No one cares about it anymore.
That's what it is.
I know.
It is. I mean,
It's
it is
just
what it
like,
is.
well.
I would have played it. I didn't know if I would have been able to finish it because I haven't played the other ones, so my opinion would have kind of been like, but we had the Make-A-Wish in December, and so I was doing that. But I would have. I'm a 3-day power man when it comes to games like that. Come on,
Yeah, I
Smitty.
mean,
I was
you go
gonna
with the
offer to
story.
babysit the kids too, so you could get it done.
That would have helped. That would have been.
I-
Yeah, you absolutely should have offered that.
Call
It's not
me.
his fault.
I'm
It's not her
here all
fault.
the time.
There's no way I could have been like, hey, any chance you could come over and watch Baby so I can
On the
play?
weekends, yeah. I
Yes,
don't have-
because it's not like you're doing it for free or like not for free, but just
I would have
to
just come over
for
and
your
watch
own
it for free, it's fine.
self-satisfaction. We had
My
a
schedule
project.
has
It was
not
a
been that
project.
bad.
We
It
did
has
have
not
a
been that
project.
bad.
We did have a project.
Yeah,
I know.
So it's
there's-
like
I know,
Yeah,
but
so
it
I'm
wasn't
just
even
saying.
that. It was just the on and off sicknesses. And this, because I mean, even then we weren't having people over. Like I didn't even get to see my parents until
after
yeah, like-
Christmas, wasn't it?
no, it was that night, because Az ended up having the flu. And it was like within
Wow.
that window. And that was right around, that's when I had bronchitis too. Like it was brutal. Like we just kept going back and forth, all of us getting it. The girls had RSV as well. Like it was crazy.
Mm.
Yeah. Other
That
than
I had to
though-
stay away from.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, like the main thing right now that I've been focusing on, obviously we've been doing Snap, but I've got to finish Breath of the Wild before Tears of a Kingdom comes out, because I plan on playing that and getting that. That's a day one for me, but I have not finished Breath of the Wild yet. I literally am at the point where I just need to get the Master Sword and to fight Ganon. I've got all the other things, like I can, you know what I mean? I was like, who am I kidding? I'm not going to go back and really like do all the side stuff. Like I just need to get through this story so I can play the next one in a timely manner. So that's where I'm at. All's been well. What about you, man? How was your holidays? How have you been, brother?
It's going. It was actually pretty. It was pretty good for the most part. I was a little sick at the beginning of December. I kind of blame that one for going. I went to a convention in the beginning of December, and then after that convention, I just felt like crap. So luckily I didn't have COVID, but I would say, but I think I just had con crud. So that's basically what that was for like 3 or 4 weeks. But I got some pretty good stuff though. But because of that, it made me get into Snap, and I just started playing Snap, and I was realizing, wow, this game is more strategic than I thought it was going to be. And then just got been hooked on playing that since then. So I mean, so far I've only put in $20 down on it, which is surprising because I know friends has been putting some good cash in, and I'm just like, no, I just can't do it. But yeah, I had a good time. Then about to beat Final Fantasy 12 finally. I decided to say, okay, you know what? Let me fight the side bosses. Now I'm at the very last side boss, which has 50 million hit points. I have to kill this thing with 50 million hit points. I've never seen that. I've never seen a boss that big before. So
Yeah.
you've got to figure that one out. Hopefully finish it next week to go on to play this that just came in the mail, the collector's edition of Fire Emblem, the collector's edition. So maybe start messing around with that for a little bit. So so I've been doing a lot of cool stuff, dude, man. Like I've just been playing a lot of like cool random games and things, and also trying to set up for some awesome cool things for the year for the podcast. So this is going to be it's going to be a good change of different things. So looking forward to this year for the most part. So. But it's actually kind of nice. It's like people wonder like why we wait, why we stop so early, and it's a month. It's like, dude, we do this weekly. This is a weekly thing, like for the whole year.
All
we need
year
at least
long.
we need a month sometimes to recalibrate and to kind of plan, or that kind of stuff. Vacation.
On top of that, we maybe each of us take four streams out of the year that we miss, not including emergencies. Like those are scheduled. Hey, I'm not going to be here because of X, Y, and Z, like it's a lot. It's a lot. And I have to deal with these two every week. Come on.
What?
Give me a month. Give me a month.
He's like, highlight of my week.
It takes time. It just takes time, That's just how it normally goes, But it is. I know. But but in all seriousness, glad we're back. Glad that we're starting to get back full steam ahead, and I know we're going to have some really cool discussions and really good, really fun time as always. So anyways, I know let's stop the normal rigmaroles and of what we did for the new year. So let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week on this podcast. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion from the previous week. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry, and we do not want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners or viewers on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook Live, to be a part of the conversation. So if there's something that you're wanting to talk about or on any of our topics, by all means, type it inside the chat. We would love to discuss it with you. So let's get this party started. So let's start this New Year's off right with Lex's topic. What are you bringing to the table?
Yes. Guys, have you watched Last of Us? Because oh my goodness. So
I haven't.
I know. I'm going to be spoiler free as much as I can. I'm just going to talk about the facts, the basics, the gist of it. So The Last of Us was a wonderful game, and it's one of my favorites. It's one of the games that really got me into the horror genre, and the storylines were absolutely fantastic. Now, I kind of want to talk about what other people's opinions were and what my thoughts were. Originally, when I saw the cast, I loved the person who plays Joel. He's fantastic. He also plays Mando. I thought he would do a really great job in that role. The casting for Ellie, for me, I was a little standoffish. And I'll be honest, with the first episode, I don't know how I feel quite yet. I'm reserving my thoughts. I think she did a great job. Now, here's the thing to remember. If you have expectations, be prepared to be disappointed every single time. We know that movie adaptations of games, it doesn't have a great track record. And so I was holding out hope that this would be really good, just because of who's playing Joel, who's producing it, all of those things. And I was right. I loved the first episode. It felt like I was back in the game. I loved the opening sequence. It really pulls you in. It really gets you invested. And it brings you another step in. Because you can tell me all day long how this situation started and how it happened, but if you really pull me in like that, I'm invested. Dust loved it 100%, and he didn't play the games. He said he wasn't planning on playing the games because he is not a huge horror fan, and so I was curious if he was going to enjoy it, and he really liked it. So he's excited for this weekend because it comes out on Sundays. Now, is it 100% to the game? No, it's not. There are a few things that are changed. It's nothing to write home about. It's nothing that I was upset about. But reading some of the reviews are absolutely hysterical. But before I do that, Smitty, I want to know how you felt about it. Because you said I give it 5 stars before podcast. I said out of 5 stars, what do you give it? And you said 5 all the way, baby.
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Same with my family. Like, they didn't play the games. They weren't sure, what to expect exactly. I think they're invested and they enjoyed it. and might even, I think this did what it was. I mean, this actually stayed truer to the game than I thought it was going to, at least with this first episode. So that was actually a little, I was like, man, like, I was a little surprised by that because I wasn't sure what direction they were going to go. If it was going to be something that followed kind of loosely based off of it, or is it going to be more of a, hey, we're adapting this game? Like, this seems more of like a legit, just like straight adaptation of what the game. I love what's his name as Joel. I thought
Pedro
that to me
Pascal?
is that
That is his name.
totally works for me. I love that I can't remember her name, but she was Olivia on Fringe. I love that she's playing Tess in this. I absolutely love her as an actress. She's fantastic. So that was a pleasant surprise. It's Ramsey. It's Ramsey. I'm having a hard time with the most. Like it's not Ellie to me. It's just not, I'm having a hard time getting there with her. So again, I'm not saying that she did anything wrong or anything bad. It is strictly based off the fact that I have a very distinct picture of who this character is already based off the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say because maybe it's because you on the outside have played the games, you're familiar with the story itself prior to like if it was just a normal Joe that's not familiar with the games and just saw this on HBO Max through the normal marketing that they did. Like, would you say that would you say that casting be acceptable for them to
yes,
to kind of see
I think
what it is with the story?
Yeah, and there's a number, and I'm not saying it's particularly her. It's only the fact that I have a preconceived image of these characters. And even though I still do with Joel, I feel like Pedro was close enough to Joel to where that was believable for me. I that is Joel. Whereas seeing Ramsey, Bella Ramsey, I think her name is it just that's not Ellie to me,
See, and here's my thought on that. I kind of felt the same way, but I watched her in Game of Thrones, and she was a badass.
I loved her in Game of Thrones.
Des loved her too in Game of Thrones.
And that's the other thing. I think that's part of the reason too.
I think we also have to keep in mind, we've only seen a snippet of Ellie, and I think we have to remember how sassy she was when we were first introduced to her. And I'm holding out hope. I think the first episode doesn't give us enough of a taste. I think that her progression in the storyline is going to make us fall in love with her. I think she's a great actress. I think she will force us to fall in love with her down the line. At least that's my hope. You know what I mean?
I think, and Papadopoulos said something. He says in chat, I was hoping for a different storyline that was just loosely based on the game. And I know that they said that they have no plans on going past the games, but I totally feel that if this is successful, I think then that's where they'll tap into.
They could.
Exactly. And I think it'll start deviating and going off. Go ahead.
Now, mind you guys, like, I'm not, like, I haven't watched the series yet because I don't have HBO. Max. Yeah. I mean, if I don't use the service, I cancel it. So I wasn't using the service.
Makes sense.
But I will. I think I might wait till the season's over so I can binge it. But for the most part, though,
I want to.
Yeah. But like for the most part, though, like I think that it's possible that they do have that room for different storylines. It's just that they just need to find a place, the startup, like a place of starting of what is going on in the world. So like, I mean, maybe if you stay patient on the initial buildup of what kind of world they live in, because like after 1 to 2, that's a 4-year gap. Like it was a 7-year gap.
And that's what I was going to say. That was part of where it took me out, particularly with Ellie, from the first one to the second one. There was such a big gap since I had played it. And obviously, those that have played the second one knows, and I have strong opinions about that as well. And I think that might be tainting my view a little bit
So, and that's where you and I differed. I played the first one. I waited for years to play that game, but I was like, you know what? They're gonna make a second one. I know it. I'm gonna hold out hope. They announced it, and I waited and I waited. I played it. I think I had a week between playing the first one and the second one, and I think that's why you felt disconnected from Ellie, whereas I didn't. Um, and it's funny because my community manager is in the chat, and he was pissed at the end of the second one, and he was upset with my choices. He was like, "No, go all the way." I was like, I can't do it." Um, and I think you're right. I think they can take this further than what the games were. And I would love to see it. Now, Papadopoulos, I asked him if he could elaborate how he felt, um, if it was like a based off of, and it was a different storyline. And he said, I compared it to something like Cyberpunk Edge Runner, which was based on the world of the game, but completely different storyline. And I think that's a great idea. I think further down the line, once they get people hooked into the show, that's absolutely a possibility. Um, Now, I did want to read a few of the reviews because they had me cracking up. Uh, and I I picked a few like people who hadn't played the game, who watched the show. And one person said, I don't know anything about the series. I didn't even know the series was originally a game. I watched it because it looked interesting and kind of reminded me of The Walking Dead.
Mhm.
And then they go and basically say, so you're telling me a virus breaks out, and they basically outline what they would assume happened and then get mad that that's exactly what happens. um I was right. I knew it. It's so inevitable, and it had me cracking up. So I had to read it. A couple people think that they have moved it to fit a politically woke agenda because they
Wow.
changed the ethnicity of a few of the characters. And
Of
to
course
that
they
I
did.
say, go sit the fuck down and shut up. Um,
I love that. It's
Someone
just
said
like it has to be because
it's
it's like
woke.
the immigrants are it's like no, maybe they just got the right people, they found the right
His
people they wanted to
his
do it.
daughter, yeah, his daughter is mixed, so it's a woke agenda. Oh, come on.
Shut up.
Another person said, and these are the 1-star reviews, they had me dying. Snooze fest. People
Mhm.
who like the video game apparently like this adaptation, but as someone who's just a simple zombie fan, how dull and uncreative could this have gone?
Okay,
Okay.
so I'm gonna say
Literally
for
one
two
episode.
things.
One
First off,
episode.
when a series like this, when a series is made, an adaptation of a game to a series, it's not meant for the people that know the game. It is not meant for those
Right.
people. It is meant for the people who do not play the games to be introduced to the world to the world of what the gamers are introduced to. So they're trying to get a new market of people interested in the same thing that you could have played, that we played like 10 years ago. So, and
Right.
that's fine, and that's perfectly fine. And then number two, this is the first episode. This is
I
the first
know.
episode of an
Right.
IP of a brand new series. It's like,
Mhm.
do you want them to answer everything? It's like, no,
Right.
you got to judge you have to judge the series at least like halfway,
Yeah.
Right.
to be like,
Right.
okay, here you go. This is what we're going to expect and stuff. It's like they're not going to show you all the awesome kick-ass parts and stuff at
Just
the beginning
wait.
of all of this. Yeah,
Right,
so
and I think you
ooh,
have to the opening I thought was beautiful. I didn't feel that it was a snooze fest at all. I think they really captured the characters' hearts in the beginning and how that has changed. Some people were
yeah.
upset that they felt that Joel was kind of shown as like an alcoholic drunk who was pushing pills, and to that I
Mhm.
say he was just like that in the game. Did you forget?
It was, yeah.
Also, it's oh, okay. So the spores, they did change a little bit of the storyline, and again, they say it's based off the video game. It's not going to be 100% different, and I like what they did with it. And
What did they
how
do? Like, is it not spores or what is it? Is it
they
fun? Is
made
it
it more
fungus?
yes, so they made it more relatable and easier to digest in a smaller frame of time, so that in the
Mhm.
first episode you understand what it is, why we're here, and what's going to happen next. But you don't
Okay.
know exactly what's going to happen next, but this is how we got
Something
here,
happened.
and this is right. This is big. It happened, and now we're in this future that is absolutely horrific, and now we have a problem, right? And I think they made it a lot easier to digest because in the game it is a little complicated and you learn about it throughout, several hours instead of a 30-minute period. This is what it is. This is how it's reacting to people and this could potentially be a problem in the future. And bam, it is, right?
Mhm.
And I think they made that more digestible for people who didn't play the game. And some people are upset about that, but you got to remember too, it's not just for us who played the game and fell in love with it, right? It's also for a brand new audience to get them invested and then maybe they want to play the game because the original is always better than the adaptation, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm essentially that's all I've got
It's
to
going to
say.
be
I loved it. I can't wait.
Yeah.
The other thing too is that not everything translates 1-to-1 either from a video game to a series or film.
Never does. Does.
So I thought, again, I thought sound design wise, sound design was dope. I'm already seeing like these prosthetics and what they've done with the sports. Like I'm really excited to see. Like I got everything I wanted. Now I'm ready to see the clickers. I want to hear that sound. I want to know. It's gonna take me back, and they gotta look good. And that
from
to
what
me,
we've seen in the
they look
commercials,
good. I know.
They look
I
so
know.
good. And I know a few people who are the makeup artists on the show. I'm like, oh, I know her work. She's great. She could do great. And it looks fantastic. Now, I will say that sound haunted me for several months after I stopped playing the game. I would wake up and I'd kind of be in that little bit of like a fog. I'm not quite awake, but I'm getting there. And I would hear that sound. And I'd sit straight up and I'd look around. Oh, man. But I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Ravage says, what's funny is that the virus origin in the world is way more believable because it's actually already happened, which is actually really.
And we just went through it, essentially.
I did see. I don't even see it. Like I said, I haven't come across it, and I don't really consider this to be a spoiler, in my opinion, personal opinion. But yeah, that's fine. And I mean, that's why I like. I like the deal with it. And then like with Papadopoulos 84 also chimed in inside the chat saying that I still cried at the beginning of the show, just like I did at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny? The beginning of the game, guys, that was the tutorial of how to play the game.
No.
That was the tutorial of the like, oh, press square to shoot and stuff like that. And it made you. It hit a freaking nerve like immediately. It was so crazy.
Just when it happened, when we were watching together, because Smitty gave us a chair, so now I go in his office. I work on my diamond paintings, and we have the projector in there, and we watch together. He was watching off the monitor. He turned around, eyes filled with tears, and I'm just streaming down my face. And I go, pause it. And I said, I just have to scream no for a second. Oh my God. And
oh my God.
And I think,
terrible.
Yeah, but people who think this is a woke agenda, shut up, sit down. It's not
but
about
you're always going to find those you're always going to find people.
There's always,
100%.
There's always going to be people like that that's going to think that will always think it's going to be an agenda. Because heaven forbids, it's like if this person's white, then he'll have to stay white, and that's and everything's all white, But it's not. It's not, dude. So
it's okay.
Whatever.
I mean, Twitter's
don't even waste their time.
Crazy right now over the Pink Floyd album cover with the
prism
and the rainbow, and people are losing. So Pink Floyd's album, cover
the wall
the prism with with the prism and the rainbow. And people, I guess, are they're redistributing it, like a mastered edition of it. And people in the chat are like, "Oh, this woke BS with the rainbows everywhere." Hi, if you
the woke BS
if you find out about Newton, you're gonna lose your mind. He's the one who invented prisms. Stop!
It's a freaking prism. It's not like they're like,
it's not a rainbow.
That's what we've come to.
Oh, I love it.
That's what
I love
we've come to.
I love the woke community now. So people we love, like just be mad to be mad. You know what? Have fun enjoying staying angry on the most trivial bullshit. So there you go.
Need no education.
The dark side of the moon. Yeah, that is an iconic album that came out in the 70s,
50 years ago.
It's woke, Davis. Don't you know? The rainbows.
Crazy, dude. That's how
the rainbows are going for us with Antifa. Oh God. Anyways,
I'm done.
Good. No, well, okay. I am definitely looking forward to it. It's on my reserve until when the season's over. Then I'm gonna watch it. Then I'm gonna sit down and watch it.
Can't wait to hear what you got to think, buddy.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's going to be. Yeah, I'm not going to worry. And I'm expecting eventually this series is going to jump the shark. I mean, because just like how Walking Dead was like and stuff is like, it's just natural if it's just as popular as it is now, because I think it beat a record already.
Yeah.
For
well,
the
technically
first time
it tied.
ever. Oh, it tied? Okay, so like
Yeah.
so if it stays as popular as it is and it's still going to be staying consistently popular, then yeah, people are going to be wanting more. Maybe we'll see 4 or 5 seasons of this thing. Who knows? But like if it does, eventually it's going to have to jump a shark of some reason at some point. And that is perfectly okay. But like we'll definitely see where this is going to go, you know. But okay, but anyways, let's get on to the second topic, which is my boy Smitty. What are you bringing to the table, dude?
Yeah. So in news that we all saw coming, Marvel Avengers and Crystal Dynamics has announced that they will be ending the support for the game on March 31st. Or I'm sorry, the September 30th. They have one more update that they'll be coming out. Yes.
Wow.
So okay. They have one more that's coming out here March 31st, and then they'll be ending support September 30th. You know, this again, we joke about it, and just I just felt that there was so much potential for this game, and I felt like Square was pretty quick to kind of step away from the game. And, you know, we know that also, I think it was Crystal Dynamics. They got sold to the Embracer Group. So they're now a part of the Embracer Group, no longer with Square. So I think that was a pretty good sign that this game was not going to last. It's unfortunate, though. Go ahead.
It did last. I feel like it did last. I mean, dude, it came out 3 years ago.
Was it 3 years?
Yeah, it came out like in 2008.
2020.
Was it 20? No, I think it came out before the pandemic. So
Nah,
it was 2019?
Nah, it was 2020, dude.
When was it?
Because I was on podcast when it came out.
Let's find out.
Talked about it.
It showed it like right at the end there of this trailer.
Avengers.
It came out September 4th, 2020.
Okay, so September. So I mean, it had a good run.
3 years.
Because it's been about 3 years. So like, I mean, to say that they've had support for a game that was supposed to be linear, and I don't know if they said this was supposed to be they didn't classify this game as a service, and it clearly was one. Yeah, it clearly was one. But for it to last 2 years. For it's a pretty good run. I mean, like, even though it was like it didn't do the numbers that they were expecting it to do. So like,
they definitely lost money on it.
Yeah, because look at it this way. Look at Outsiders.
Outriders
or Outriders, not Outsiders.
He couldn't even be damned with his name. Right. He couldn't even be.
No, that's me.
Exactly. Exactly. Outriders should have been a game as a service. People were expecting it to be game as a service, and then they were talking like, oh, we're going to be doing all these different kinds of add-ons and different kinds of things and stuff like that. But then what did it ended up becoming? They were like, oh, here's our first expansion. It's going to be a full priced expansion where people didn't buy it because they're like, you're on crack if you think we're going to do that.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on
that
you.
Game dropped on its face. And then was like, but still Avengers lasted a lot longer than what Outriders did.
That's true.
Is what I'm saying.
That's
so
true.
I'm just, yeah, even as their disappointment of in sales as a game of Avengers, it's still like they had a plan and they went through it. I admit, because remember when we were talking about it a long time ago, I thought this game was going to be DOA after a year.
Yeah,
and it lasted 3 times that.
They dropped new characters, but you could see it was coming because, like, you know, when they first dropped characters, they had a whole story mission. There was Wakanda, a new area. All of a sudden, I think I know for sure Spider-Man, they didn't even have a story when they dropped Spider-Man. They're just like, here you go. And I know Winter Soldier was the last one that came out. I think Winter Soldier is supposed to be the last character. I do know, though, after the 31st, so if you do have this game, don't spend any money if you were thinking about spending money in the shop. Everything will become available after the 31st. You can get everything, all the costumes, everything for free. Yes.
Oh, that's even better.
So that's Las pretty Vegas cool. And they said that this
it says
LV
has a pretty good point with Anthem.
No comment.
lasted
no
longer
comment.
than Anthem. It
We
did.
don't
It did
talk about
last
that.
longer.
We don't talk about that game and how much money
And
people
only
spent
half
on
is
that.
broken. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
At least I
love
didn't
it.
spend money on this game.
Anthem was a good. I mean, no, not Anthem was a good game. Avengers was a good game, and the story mode play.
The story was
good, but
great.
man,
They should have just done the
good.
story
Going
stuff
ham on
and
it.
then build DLCs off
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah.
They went too hard in the paint with trying to do this co-op thing that, like, dude, if
Yeah.
you don't have fresh content on the regular, this game that you're saying is not a live service game that clearly is a live service game. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
And like I said, we saw Square say, "Whoa, all right, we can go ahead and step away." As a matter of fact, we actually selling this company. If you like them, you can have them. You can have them.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. You know what I would actually love to see? I would actually love to see the numbers with Avengers versus what they received with Outriders. Like that's what I would love to see. Because like if this truly was the case, because like it doesn't make a lick of sense for them to be keeping up with DLC and characters like this for as long as they have, if they felt like this game was completely dead in the first place. Because if the game was completely dead, they wouldn't wait 3 years for them to finally shut it down. They're probably seeing that no one cares about it now, and they're like, okay, we're gonna slowly stop and everything. Let it retire or whatever. But still, it's like it's like this is an enigma to me, because usually when a game is like as bad as the game that this game was ripped on, the game still it was still supported. It was supported
because
for
Square. I
years.
told you. I said it from the jump off. I
storyline
said
was
Square
good.
won't let this fail. Regardless, they're not. They won't allow. They can't allow it to do that. So they will keep it going, and they did. They kept it going, and then as soon as that contract or whatever was up, that's when they said deuces. But you also have to remember, too, that Crystal Dynamics, they're working. So I'm sure that they're excited about this, too, because now they get to focus on this new Tomb Raider that they'll be working on as well. So it seems like a good time to hang up the hat on this game and say, let's, we can put all our focus on here. We're with our new team, the Embracer Group, which if you're not familiar with the Embracer Group, they've got a ton of studios underneath their umbrella gaming wise, but I'm excited to see what they do. Again, I can't deny it. It's a fun game. It was just execution wise not executed correctly.
It has absolutely no identity. That's what I think that was the problem of it, because like it got hella grindy at the end, and but like story mode wise, it was actually a very solid story of like a good amount of time, and then you were having a good time fighting the stuff and everything, So Ravage and Ruins typed inside the chat, just like anyone can inside our Twitch page. Know who got it right? Star Wars KOTOR. Can't complain with that. They really can't. They can't. The game is 30 years old and it still slaps, man. That game is. Can't wait till that remake comes. Yeah. That Papadopoulos also says probably couldn't allow it to fail because of Disney. That's also a very good possibility, because Disney's very strict with their IPs, so who knows what's going to happen.
Well, and Disney also has mess around and find out kind of money, So if they lost money on it, they don't really care.
Well, Disney ain't losing money on it.
No.
Somebody else gonna lose money on it.
True.
But that's probably why Square was like, look, dude, you're gonna support this game. We're gonna do it until we can recoup as much as we possibly can. And then we're gonna get the rest of that. That's probably why they had to sell them off. They had to pay off the rest of that Disney debt. They said, all right, Embracer Group, we'll take anything.
Disney was smart to lease out the rights, and so they know that so the risk is very low to them. All it is like it's a bad game and stuff like that. Like, I mean, look at what like people who were struggling on that was EA originally when they got the sole rights for that nonsense. But then after they started leasing the rights to other companies, I mean, like and stuff, then they're like, oh, we don't have to make the game, we'll have someone else do it. Okay, well, there you go. But so no, I mean, it sucks to see it go. You know what? I might actually sit down and play the expansions after it's all said and done. Because like I think for this,
I'm still working through
beating it.
Black Panther.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I did Panther. I think I'm way
it looks fantastic too.
Yeah.
It's
Panther
fun.
looks really cool.
Again, it's fun.
I've watched the playthrough of that, and it looks fantastic.
It does. Yeah. I think I'm at Kate Bishop right now. So that's like the
okay.
Yeah, I think that's where I you saying you stopped at.
Yeah, so like I need to go deal with that and see, but no, like yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's like it's a good thing that they did these expansions. I think this story expansions is what they should have went through in the route instead of this weird multiplayer grind fest that they did at the end of it, but
Yeah.
still but
The end
still
game was terrible.
yeah, but that's cool. Well, we'll see. Well, so they have we got 6 months. No, we got 9 months. 9 months for for connections or for DLC and stuff. Well, now we know too that all the stuff is going to be free, so it's like okay, there you go. So,
Well, they're not doing
so,
any more
like,
DLCs.
I
Yeah,
know.
but he's
I'm
saying
just
that the
saying, like,
DLCs that are out will be free after that.
yeah, all the stuff like the outfits and the stuff, so no more
Oh
of those
yeah,
stupid
all that
tokens
stuff.
and all that.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
so no, I'll take it. I'll take
Yeah.
all that. Yeah, so by all means, free 99 is always nice for me.
I love $3.99.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's good. That's definitely good. Well,
So rip.
yeah, rip Avengers. Not quite yet rip, but we'll see.
Almost.
Goodbye.
Yeah, September. All right. So the final topic is my topic, closing it all out. And I wanted to talk. Yep. I want to talk about Activision Blizzard a little bit. And I know I've been kind of stickler with it, which is basically, you know, my whole thing of saying every time we talk about this is always fuck Bobby Kotick for all good reason. So we yeah, so there you go. But now and it's kind of funny because I'm actually amazed that people are upset about this, but well, there's two things that's happened. Today Xbox was officially laid off 10,000 of their people, like not Microsoft, but the Xbox branch of Microsoft, to lay off 10,000 of their employees today. This is the anniversary of the announcement of them buying Activision Blizzard. You know that today, the day when they announced the layoffs was the anniversary of them talking about the Activision Blizzard merger or buyout. And so like that's just a little bit of a kick in the shin of what's happening. But I think like about a week ago or so, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, has officially said that they were going to go through the process of blocking this trade or this acquisition of Activision Blizzard, because they actually sided on Sony's side on this of them saying that this is that you're pushing to a monopoly level of ownership without telling vaguely what your full plans are. Like when you do, like if you do get the rights of it back, then what are you going to do? Are you going to still make it free, allow other people or allow other systems to get the same kind of stuff that you're not making it exclusive for the Xbox and the PC for? So and then there was a tweet by a guy that like a high ranking official of Xbox says that they were trying to play nice. Now it's time to now it's time to go to war. That's what he put on on Twitter itself. So shit's getting really real right now about what's what's happening with this. So like what I'm amazed about is the why people are mad at Sony pointing this out, because it doesn't make that doesn't make sense to me, because they're mad because they're like saying, oh, Sony has the exclusives and stuff like that, like the exclusives on their system. Why can't Microsoft have the same exclusives? I'm like it's clear as day why. Sony made those studios. They made them from scratch. It's not like they went out to so-and-so, to a third party, and say, hey, we like you. We want to buy you out. And so we can be only a Sony exclusive company and then make exclusive games for us. No, they did the work. They built their own studios from the ground up. And then they were incredibly successful on this. The only studio that they did not buy or that they went on their own is Bungie, which Bungie, they have said that they weren't going to do any changes with Bungie with their Destiny 2 content. So it's going to be on all systems still, everything's still good. And then the other one was the people who did Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man and stuff. I can't remember the name of the studio. Yeah, Insomniac. Yeah. Insomniac Studios was bought out just a year ago, right, which is incredibly unheard of for Sony to ever do. for this. So like even Bend was another one. Bend Studios used to not even wasn't owned. It was their own studio that was on their own until recently. Which just got bought out by Sony. But other than that, their big stuff, God of War, Last of Us, all that stuff, all Sony exclusive because they were made by Sony themselves. Microsoft has been through the process, and has always been through the process of buying studios, trying to make them their exclusive studios to make stuff exclusively for their systems ever since the system was made back in 2000 and 2002. So like then look at the list of that they personally bought. They bought Bethesda's library. They're in the process of buying what's it called? Activision Blizzard, which would be a huge blow to anyone who wanted to get any kind of gaming on the outside of PC or Xbox itself. So I mean, like those two alone have a gigantic library of of games and stuff itself. It's just insane to me that they're doing it. The only reason why Sony made a big stink of it is because Modern Warfare 2 is a big piece of money for Sony. You're literally effing with Sony's money, and then if you eff with Sony's money, they're going to try to beat the crap out of you, regardless how big you are. Yeah, So I think it was in Sony's right to do this. I really don't think it's fair for them to be ridiculed. They're like saying that they're being a hypocrite on that. It's like, no, they did the freaking work. So let them enjoy their spoils on this. Microsoft has never done anything for themselves except for Forza, Gears of War, and Halo. That was it. I mean, these are the 3 game exclusives that were probably the most consistent that Microsoft has truly made throughout its whole time. You had Fable, which disappeared. They're slowly trying to come back.
But Halo was
stuff
Bungie.
Like that. Yeah, but Bungie was originally a Microsoft company. It was originally when it first came when they made the first Halo. So it was I still consider that to be a Microsoft thing on IP, and it's still exclusive to Microsoft.
True.
So yeah, so like So
Wait,
I'm just saying, what
you said exclusive to Microsoft?
Yeah, it's a PC and Microsoft, or a PC and Xbox.
No,
what system is Halo on?
Halo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Halo.
I'm thinking Destiny.
Else?
I'm thinking Destiny.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, it's okay. I was like, what is it?
Yep,
you know
yep,
this
sorry.
info.
It was on the
That's
Game
the
Boy
reason why
SP.
I never played. That's why I never played Halo. Remember how I was going through that series?
Yeah. Yeah. So I
still gotta finish
I'm
that.
just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying overall, like, so the FTC. I think the FTC is doing a good move on this, and especially I don't like to. Like, even though Activision Blizzard is basically burning right now, it's still like I don't feel that it should get to get that Microsoft to get their full library on their own exclusive system like that. They should leave it as, if anything, I would rather have Embracer pick it up if they have that kind of money, to do it, because they're the middle clan of all of this. So I just wanted to know what y'all's thoughts were overall about, like, if about FTC trying to block Microsoft on trying to with this buyout.
I think it's a good move. From the outside perspective, and we had talked about it last year. It looked like Sony was butthurt over the situation, but like you said, at the end of the day, they are acquiring games that were from a private or made by other companies and then acquiring them, whereas Sony 100% those were those studios, and that's why they had the rights to those games and them being only on their system. I think, I could really care less about Blizzard at this point. I mean, they are just screwing up left and right. I find it interesting that Microsoft is trying to purchase Blizzard for so much money, yet they're laying off 10,000 people. Like, to me, those don't correlate. You know what I mean? Like, why are you laying off so many people when those studios that you're probably laying them off from could be working on a game that is just for your system? I honestly, do I really care at the end of the day? Not really. But do I
Right.
think that it's a great decision for them to stop it? Yeah, because what's the point? In all reality, they're trying to gobble up anything that they think Sony could. Um, because they don't have the rights to their own games, you know, and tough
Well,
titty
they
little
don't have
kitties,
the
like I always
creativity.
say. Right. And
They've they've tried so many times to open up their like Microsoft is not a spring chicken when it comes to gaming. They're well established at this point in time. So when they're saying when they're trying to pivot with this new stuff that they're doing, like when they bought out Ninja Theory and then these other smaller deals, it's annoying because it's like you're telling me that Microsoft doesn't have the time to actually try to make their own studios or to do this, to be like, here you go. Instead, they're just making sure they're saying it's a lot easier if there's an established company, then we'll just buy them out, and then they just say here, this is a Microsoft exclusive,
right. Well,
overall, which is
and
BS to me.
yeah, no, I agree. And Papadopoulos says it great. Who remembers when Microsoft established an indie game community bringing cool games to the platform? Now they've forgotten about the community and are just buying big name studios. I agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. If you don't have the creativity, then hire someone that does. Bring us something new. Don't purchase a company that's as big as Blizzard when you're laying off 10,000 people. You could be giving them the time, money, and effort to then work on something that is creative, that is new, that is refreshing, but they're not doing that, you know? And I think the FTC is 100% in blocking it. What's the point? What's the point?
Yeah.
Bring us
What do you
something
think?
new, man.
Money.
Yep.
I mean, but
Yo.
dude, they are willing to spend $48 billion with Activision Blizzard, like not because that they were wanting, like if they have that kind of stuff to just give out to people, like to companies, you're telling me that they can't find someone to be like, hey, we want you to build a studio, make an original IP for Microsoft, and then do the from the ground up and have at it. Like there's a ton of well established creators out there. So that's out there to do it. I mean,
I totally get it, and it could be, part of their strategy, short term versus long term. Short term, buy up studios to be able to pump out content. Long term, build out an actual, good studios, not due to things that have happened in the past, and not make those same mistakes. It's not surprising.
I feel like they're making the same mistake,
and they may be. It's tough to know, what's going on in those conversations. But the fact that the FTC stepped in, because I was kind of on that, like, PlayStation, when those reports first came out about them, like, but then it's like, oh no, that is valid in terms of, because clearly, and it's not even all the other IPs, it is specifically Call of Duty makes so much freaking money and has so much sway within the video game world. That's the kind of power and leverage that it has. That really wasn't buying Activision Blizzard. That was them trying to buy Call of Duty, is all that was. And they are stopping that from happening. So my question is then, what happens next? We already know the castle's on fire at Activision Blizzard. Something has to happen over there. And if this doesn't go through, what then happens after that? Do they segment and break off and get sold off as smaller entities? Because if you're saying it stays as Activision Blizzard, then essentially, are they saying that it's too big to be bought by everybody, or it's too big to be bought by Microsoft specifically because they'd have too much of a market share?
It's too big to be bought by Microsoft specifically.
Okay.
Because
okay.
Yeah, because like I said, if you look at the history of what Microsoft has bought in the last 3 years, it's like they are gobbling up companies. They are gobbling up big companies. So it wasn't. They're not even like hiding that. Instead, and then they're giving a blanket statement saying, "Oh, we'll still honor the deals that were left by these other people and stuff like that," which they can't. Which they probably will. But who's to say in the future? Look at what Bethesda did with their exclusives, with the space one, space Skyrim or whatever, and the new Elder Scrolls game that's coming out. It's going to be an exclusive for Microsoft and stuff like that. Like all that's going to be exclusive to Microsoft. Could they be exclusives? Could they be on PlayStation? Yeah, it can, but they won't. because they know they're going to get more money on that stuff on the other spot. The new IP that's coming out, Redfall, exclusive to Microsoft, all that stuff is going to be like, it's going to be kind of effed up.
And Game Pass.
Yeah.
I mean, not just that, but
Day
like Blizzard,
one.
like you said, is on fire right now. I mean, in China, that's a whole story for another day. But they literally have the company that runs their servers in China destroying the Warcraft statues because, but like Blizzard asked them to extend their contract while they then shop around for other companies to run their servers. Like how that I mean. How
Yeah.
privileged are you to do that? You know what I mean? Like, come on now.
Maybe big enough to fit that they don't think that I mean, they probably feel like they shouldn't be. They're big enough to not that they shouldn't fail, or if it does fail, it's gonna be a big issue. Which since everything is run on their exclusive platform, that is a worry, you know. So
well, we know that some folks over at 343 were targeted. Basically, unofficially, 343 will no longer be working on the Halo series. So who knows?
Only be existing.
343. I don't know. Yeah, it was just really bad, and everything that went on. I feel like they are taking, because what happened was, especially during the pandemic, everything, especially indoor things and stuff like that, all of a sudden became inflated with money. So they took on new hires and this and that. With the pandemic, cooling down and things getting more back to what status is going to be now. People were no longer spending that kind of time inside, that kind of money, and everything's dropping off. So now they have these bloated places that are just, leaking money and stuff like that, and doing that. Obviously, it's always unfortunate no matter what the number is, but those are people's jobs and people's lives, and we're just starting a new year, so I'm sure that's absolutely devastating for them to receive that kind of news and whatnot. But hopefully they're able to go and get picked up, whatever it is that they do. But yeah, I feel like the job market in whole, because it wasn't just Microsoft, it's been multiple bigger companies that are going through rounds of layoffs in all kinds of different sectors. There's
restructuring.
Yeah, because they're already, basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to plan for the coming recession, is what I believe is happening, and they are.
I agree.
Thinning out before they get hit hard. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of that stuff, and I think anybody could be affected by that. But I feel like I'm seeing it more and more places, and it's like, I know these signs. I've been through recessions before. All of a sudden, these
so fun.
These veteran people are retiring and stuff like that. They're getting those fat severances and seeing like, all right, deuces, I am no longer dealing with this. I'm out. This is that first round where they ask people if you can leave. The next round is the layoffs.
Yeah.
So
I mean, at this rate, the three of us are not getting any Social Security money at the end of our retirements. Nope.
I've never anticipated that ever being a thing for me.
Same.
Yeah.
So, it's bad.
So terrible. But we'll see
where
this is going to go. Yeah. But folks, this is episode number 160 of the CFG Game Cast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation as always. We will be back again next Friday with some more awesome discussions. But in the meantime, though, if you did miss out on this live topic, that is okay. We release it on podcast services, Apple, Google Podcast, Stitcher Radio, all podcast services every Monday morning. So there's absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices. Guys, thank you so much, and be sure to check out our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, where we will be actually releasing our new episode of the year for Pop Culture Gems with a new voice acting guest. So definitely stay tuned for that next week. But once again, guys, this is Davis, Lex, and Smitty signing off. Y'all take it easy.
Bye.